Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to look at how we audit a chart that's already been coded. So if we pull up case 2.1, the psychotherapy report, it's been coded with the codes at the bottom of the screen. So professional services psychotherapy code 90791, and our two diagnosis codes are depression F33.9 and impulse disorder 463.9. So as the coder, or the auditor in this case, we are verifying that the codes that were assigned are correct per the documentation, so that the documentation supports the assigned codes. So to do that, we need to look at the documentation and then look at the code descriptions. So let's start by reading the actual report. So it says, there were brief periods of time when Joyce was grimacing in response to physical pain. She continues to hope that there will be a surgery or dramatic intervention with this pain. She made very clear it is episodic and sometimes is less severe. We have addressed impulsive behaviors and especially irritability. It appears she is doing better with that, at least by her report. Arrangement for follow-up will be made. I spent 20 minutes performing a psychiatric diagnostic evaluation of this patient. The diagnostic impressions, so the diagnoses, are number 1, major depression, mild recurrent, and number 2, impulse disorder, NOS, or not otherwise specified. Then it says, one of the following codes is reported incorrectly for this case. So what we are going to do is verify those assigned codes. We know one is not correct. So take out your CPT manual. First, we're going to look at the CPT that was assigned, 90791, Psychiatric Diagnostic Evaluation. If we go back to our documentation, that's exactly what this says. At the last sentence, I spent 20 minutes performing a psychiatric diagnostic evaluation. So that code is correct. Let's look at our CM book now and our diagnoses. So the first one was F33.9, major depressive disorder, recurrent, unspecified. If we go back to our documentation, R says major depression, mild recurrent. Well, F33.9 in the book is major depressive disorder, which is correct, recurrent, which is correct, unspecified. That is not correct because ours is specified as mild. So if we look at the book, we want the one that says mild, which we can see up here in the green, the same category section, right, F33, but instead of 0.9, we want 0.0 for the mild. So we know that code is not correct, and let's just look at the second one, which was F63.9. So F63.9 is impulse disorder, unspecified. If we come back here, impulse disorder, not otherwise specified, so that is correct. So we know that F33.9 should be F33.0. Now, if you wanted to do this in 3M, let me show you how to do that in an encoder as well. So log into 3M. Once we're at the patient information screen, let's make our patient 50. And then under the product, you want to choose the HCPC CPT so we can get our CPT procedure and then our ICD diagnosis. So I'm going to hit the HCPC CPT ICD group. Then I'm going to hit continue. So we enter our codes F339. And add diagnosis, we're going to enter the second one, F639. And we're going to enter our procedure, which was 90791. So you can look at these codes here. Now, the nice thing about 3M is if you didn't like this code, which we didn't, right, because it says unspecified, we can go to the code book right here directly inside 3M. And then if we scroll up and look at the codes, we can find our mild documented right here in the F33.0. I'm going to close out of this, or we can actually use 3M to look up the diagnosis. So if I hit add diagnosis, we type our word, which is depression, And then I'm going to hit acute, number 4, and it's a mental disorder. And it was documented as major, so I'm hitting 5. And then it's recurrent, so I'm hitting 9. It's a current episode, right? She currently has it, so we're hitting 3. And it was documented as mild, so I'm hitting 1. And there's the code, F33.0. So I'm going to hit continue. And then on this screen, what we can do is highlight this code, then I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete it because I don't want that code. And then if we want to move this code first, I do the same thing, highlight it, click it, and I'm going to move that to our first code, and there are our codes.